this vlog, I'm on tour with Fidget Feet in Ireland doing a show called Handful of Dreams, and I'm going to show you what I got up to and answer some of the questions you asked me on Instagram. I was so excited for this tour because I haven't performed properly in years because I've been focusing on teaching and studying and other creative projects, so I've really missed it, and this was really exciting to get back into performing again. Thank you, Chantal McCormick, who asked me to be in this show and has also took me under her wing since I was a baby dance grad. And yeah, I really love working for Fidget Feet. I love the work that they create, so definitely check them out if you've not heard of them before. So I travelled from Liverpool to Limerick to the Irish Aerial Creation Centre for rehearsals. If you've not heard of the IACC before, definitely check them out. They've got lots of cool residencies and they've got something really cool called the Creative Intensive, which is really great for professionals and if you're just starting out in aerial. So onto the questions. The first one I got was, how long did it take you to rehearse for the show? So I was the only new performer in the show. Everyone else had been in the show before, so I was learning the show from scratch. And I got the video beforehand, so I learnt the aerial choreography at home before I travelled. And yeah, then we had 3 days in the Creation Centre, and there was a lot of floor choreo to learn and Irish dancing that I was absolutely awful at, but thanks to my fellow performers, they were so patient with me and really taught me all the steps and broke it all down. And yeah, I got over all my imposter syndrome about not being a dancer and feeling awkward on the floor and all of that nonsense. So yeah, it was fun. We had a couple of days rehearsal on site as well on the rig, which was great because I was really petrified of standing on top of the rig at first, so this got me used to it. Another question I got was, how long before the show do you start to get costume and hair and makeup done? So the lovely Sara Granda was doing our hair for this show, and we got on site about 3 hours before the show started to get our hair done, and then we'd go off and do a warm-up and a rigging check and yeah, just sort out whatever we needed before the show. Costume didn't get on until about 15 minutes before the show started, and then we had our harness check and then put the layer on top as well because we had different layers of costume. It was really hot, so that's why we left it so late to put costume on. But yeah, we did makeup ourselves, and that was sometime in between the warm-up time, and we did our own makeup. Another question was, what do you find most challenging about performing? Now, this is a good question, and I think it's the imposter syndrome in the run-up to performing because it's really intense, especially because I hadn't performed in a while. I had all of the, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm going to mess up the show, all those kind of thoughts coming up, and it was really intense, and I was really convinced that I was going to spoil the whole show. But I didn't, and it was fine. But I really struggle with that with performing. Like, it's always the run-up as well. It's never when I'm actually performing, I'm in the zone. But like the run-up to performing and on the performance day, I get really anxious and nervous about how the show's going to go. So I definitely struggle with that. Also for this show in particular, it was the cardio because it was a lot of running around and dancing on the floor, and I just wasn't used to that, so that was a challenge for this one in particular. Another question was, what's your favourite thing about performing? And I think, this is going to be cheesy, but I think it's the fact that you have to be so present. Like, you've got to be in that moment with your fellow performers and with the audience, and everyone's just kind of capturing that moment together. And I don't know, I think that's kind of rare to find that these days because we're all so busy and fast-paced and doing loads of different things at once. But I think watching a live show like that, I think everyone's just engaged and in it, and as a performer, you've got to stay alert and making sure everyone's together and safe and just working together as a team. I really like that aspect of performing. Okay, and then I got, how does it feel to balance teaching and performing? So if you're a teacher and performer, you know that it's a balancing act. It's difficult to balance the two. For the last few years I've been teaching a lot, and that's been really great. I've learned so much about myself as a teacher and about different students and working with different people, and a lot about myself as well. So I really needed that period teaching, and I really enjoyed the break from performing, but I think I was definitely ready to get back into performing again. And I think it's a struggle. Like, I absolutely love teaching. It's not something I just do in between performing. I do it because I really love it. But I think it's really hard to find that balance, because I find teaching becomes a lot more regular than performing does, and then performing also requires a lot of time. So usually when I'm performing, I can't do any teaching, and it's hard to navigate that sometimes. But I really like having that balance. Like, I wouldn't like to just do one or the other. I really like having both of them because I really enjoy both. But yeah, it just takes time to balance them out, and sometimes it's gonna sway one way or the other. But yeah, I definitely want to keep both of them going. Okay, this felt really self-indulgent, but I want to say thank you to Fidget Feet for having me on this show, and all the gorgeous performers that were with me. And thank you so much for watching if you've got this far.